Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about after 50, the 10 to 5. A touchdown with Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Left with White. Stevenson. He's gone. Touchdown. Tavon Austin.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
They want to have a 7-on-7 drill. We want to make it a fist fight. Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football.
From the heart, streaming, it's Mountaineer pride. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue.
West Virginia is a special place. People are the state that have great pride in this WV logo.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
There we are. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into CRW Live post-game mobile edition. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay. Got Steven here with me, co-host here on the CRW. What's going on, Steven? We're fresh out the spring game. See you guys in the chat there, Kenny, Timmy. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. The audio's all right. I know signal might be spotty trying to do this from the phone, but hopefully it works out okay. Definitely great experience at this spring game. I can say that for sure. Without a doubt, one of the most fun in recent memory, I'd say.
Maybe the funnest one I've ever been a part of. They really mixed up the activities. The team did pretty well, whereas before it was kind of stalemated throughout most of the second half of the game. I thought this year they did a good job of mixing up the events that they had the team do. And then, of course, afterwards, it was a surprise to me. I think
There we go. I think we're back in now. Got Steven moving us. Signal was spotty where we parked first time, so we're going to hopefully bear with us, guys. Hopefully talk with you guys a little bit here about this spring game. Hopefully the audio sounds good and everything. But having said that, yeah, definitely what Steven was getting into is probably one of the coolest things is, we started a little bit later. I know we originally planned to start at 3, started a little bit later because unexpectedly, kind of unbeknownst to us, a nice surprise. They had plenty of surprises for the game, obviously the uniform reveal and all that good stuff, but they let the fans onto the field for 30 minutes after the game. Several players stayed out there, signed autographs, took pictures and stuff. It was really cool, cool thing that the university did. So that we definitely took advantage of that. Me and Steve were both saying, it's like a lifelong dream for us, getting to go on the Mountaineer field, definitely something to cross off the bucket list. So we soaked up all that entire 30 minutes, talked to a couple of the players. I got a picture with Wyatt Milam. We started off trying to, stand in Garrett Green's line, but it was by far the longest. And so we didn't even get the chance to get up to Garrett Green before he had to leave. You guys know me. I was looking for Jaheim White. Couldn't find him out there. Like I said, some players stayed out. Some players didn't. It was cool that the university did that. But having said that, as far as other things that were at the game, uniforms. Definitely a nod to, the classic look mixed with some of the 07 look and kind of a twist on what we've been doing recently, and the country roads, with the text going across the front. Steven, thoughts on the unis?
First thoughts, I don't want to be too recency biased, but I do believe that they're probably some of my best, if not my favorite uniforms that we've ever had. I think they pay perfect homage to the past uniforms that we've had, and some of the great teams that we've had. Of course, some of those uniforms they mentioned the needle stripe going down the leg.
Yeah,
I love that.
That was awesome.
In addition to it, I know you talked about past guy adding some more
the gold. Yes,
which they definitely did a perfect job of doing that. And then one of the biggest things for me was over off the top of the shoulder, and then adding the logo to the side of the
yes, the flying WV on the shoulder is great.
That's my favorite thing they've done. So I think they hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
This one. And definitely, if they, I think I mentioned this to Bruce earlier, if they chose to wear these uniforms for the rest of the time, which they
change them eventually. Yeah, for sure. I think that it's really cool because, like, a lot of the stuff that I've talked about in the past and Steven talked about in the past, we both got to see that, like, represented on the uniform because, like he said, he had been a big proponent of getting the numbers off the shoulders, putting the flying WV back on the sleeves. They did that. And you guys know when I've talked about the white uniforms in the past that I really would just love to see some gold on there, like the gold outline of the blue numbers. They did that. Got the gold outline on the blue flying WV as well. Looked so good. The helmets look good. They got a stay outline flying WV white helmet. The pant stripes look good on all the pants. I really think adding the gold to the blue with the white makes it really stand out on the pants and on the jerseys. But of course, the one thing that I'm sure we were all hoping to see that we didn't get to see is those black uniforms that are rumored to be, coming out for Penn State. Unfortunately, haven't got a chance to look at those yet. But
yeah, I think we were all really excited to see those. But we ought to have known that's what
they're gonna make us wait for that one.
They act with uniform reveals are very secretive.
Yeah.
Very, in-house about these things. And so for a uniform that I think, a lot of people are against it, whatever side you're on. I think a lot more people are jumping on board with having these black uniforms. So I think that, if anything, them not revealing them today only gets, people talking about what it could look like and creates more chatter in that realm of things, in my opinion. So I think in one way they did that in a smart way. If you're trying to market jersey sales, which in today's world, they're trying to do that.
They're definitely did a good job drawing up the interest for it and stuff. And I think it's funny though the way that they laid it out today when they first revealed the unis after the first quarter, and so you get the big reveal, we're excited, and then they say, and that's the first of 3 different uniform combinations we're going to reveal today. And so me and Steven immediately were like, oh wow, they're going to reveal the black uniforms too. But it turns out they were just showing different sets, mixing up the pants combinations, the helmets combinations with the new uniforms, which was cool that they did give us the different looks of the variations and stuff. Thought that was pretty cool. But I do see a few of y'all in here live. Appreciate you guys being here and bearing with us despite doing this on the go. Timothy, Kenny, appreciate you guys. Timothy Green says, how was the Pat and Pat challenge? Hey, it was nice getting to see both those guys back, Pat White and Pat McAfee. Both of those guys, I think, left and went back to the locker room when they were letting the fans on the field, because I'm sure they would have probably been mobbed by the fans. And I think they wanted to give, the current players their due and let them have their time. So, that was cool. But it was really nice to see both of those guys back. Timothy Green says, what's up, Steven? It's been a really good while, my friend. Good to see y'all back together. Always enjoy your show, and let's go Mountaineers.
What's going on, man? It's good to be back, man. I've told Cruz trying to get back to being on the show more regularly. I know football season is definitely a must for me to be back. It's always whenever I always get pulled back in the swing of things, but definitely.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a fun football season for it too, and we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. And we'll get into some more of the football talk here momentarily. I want to talk about some of those and uniforms and all the cool reveals, especially getting led onto the field. That's one of the coolest things I think WVU's ever done. I can't say how awesome that was for both of us. We were both, just kind of at the end. We weren't even looking around to talk to players or take pictures of players anymore. We were both just kind of soaking up the time and just enjoying that moment of getting the chance to be there. I'm like, who knows if we'll ever get a chance to be on here again. It's something that I'd always wanted and didn't think I'd ever get a chance to do. So pretty awesome stuff there. But having said that, appreciate you guys that are in here live. If you're in here live, or even if you're watching on a playback, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. If you're a WVU fan, be sure to subscribe here. Ton of Mountaineer football coverage and Mountaineer basketball coverage. Going to have a ton of things to talk about after this spring game. Get back home, get in the studio. Going to be putting out some content, so no better time to subscribe than now. Catch up on some of y'all's comments, and then we'll talk about some of the football here. Timothy says he thinks they're holding out on the black uniforms for sure. Kenny says, how did the new wide receivers look? So perfect transition there, Kenny. I think that we saw some good things, for both sides of the football. But speaking of the wide receivers specifically, late in the game, I saw Traylon Ray making plays, which is to be expected. Preston Fox probably had the catch of the day, that, catch in the corner of the end zone when he went up over Montre Miller. I think we saw good things from him as well. And Jaden Bray, he certainly looks the part. He's, big frame. I think he's going to really help this team a lot. So, I liked what I saw from the receivers, but I think I came away personally, more impressed with the defense. Just because I'm sold on our offense. I think we're going to be good there. And I told you guys, in one of the streams leading up to the game, that if the defense kind of held their own, then I think that would be a good sign for this season. And I think that, really, in my opinion, for a good part of the game, I thought they held their own. What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, I really thought it was, going into the game, I really wanted to see not necessarily one faster than the other kind of do better, but more of, good back and forth between the two. I think the groups that we've got coming back, that's really kind of what you need to see, especially up front on that defensive line. I wanted to see how much pressure they got on the line, and then vice versa, how well did that line hold up against the defensive pressure, because then, we do have some question marks along the offensive line as well. But I thought for the most part they both did. It was a lot of good back and forth.
Yeah.
You didn't really see a lot of mistakes. I think really the only penalties that you've seen all day long were, I know I've seen one or two delay of game penalties, and then I think we might have got 1 to 3 pass interference.
Traylon Ray drew another one, just like he did a lot last season.
That was a good draw by Traylon Ray, in my opinion. But I think for the most part, you saw really clean, disciplined ball. And that's what you want to see in games like this when you're trying to prepare for a season. Like I said, I think it was really good back and forth between both groups. And it wasn't just the lines either. That was, it goes from the receivers and the quarterbacks. And then I try not to judge quarterback play in these games because you really don't see an accurate.
Yeah, it's a vanilla playbook, and mismatched offensive lines too. The one thing I noticed from the beginning is they had one. I think it was the blue team had Brandon Yates as the center, but the other 4 offensive linemen were reserved. So then the other offensive line on the goal team had 3 or 4 starters, because of course Thomas Rumack wasn't playing, but then had your backup center Landon Livingston in there. So it's always tough to judge. But like you said, one thing I will agree on is I thought the offensive line did a good job. I noticed that on the first drive because I jotted down in my notes, which I've got somewhere here. I'll pull those out in a second if I can find them. But that first drive, the Clay Ash was being featured a little bit of running back, and you had what is pretty much the second team offensive line in there, but they were still getting some push and opening up some holes for that run game early for sure. So I think I liked what I saw trench play kind of on both sides. And, it's also not the finished version of this team. We're missing a lot of pieces, some out for injury that'll be back in the fall and things like that. So it's always, kind of tough to judge a spring game. 100% agree with you on that there, Steven. But you guys in the chat there, drop any questions, comments, concerns you got there. What'd you like that you saw? What'd you like from the uniforms, all that good stuff? Because, Yeah, me and Steven both. I don't think we could be any more pleased with the uniform reveal, really, unless they would have revealed the black uniforms as well. But, they brought back the stripe on the sleeve, the flying WV on the shoulder, the pants stripe. Just everything was chef's kiss, in my opinion. But also, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that with those uniforms, I think what I really wanted to see was I didn't want them to add too much, and I didn't want them to, which I know that the uniforms we've been wearing past, 3 to 4 years now, maybe. But I know that those were very simplistic, so there wasn't much to take away. But I really truly believe that they touched on all of the notes that people wanted to see. I've heard a lot of chatter about people talking about bringing back. I wasn't the only one talking about the logo on the side.
Right.
I think that was my favorite addition to these. But another thing I wanted to mention was the stripe. You call it wing stripe.
Yeah,
the wing stripe on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That of course pays homage to those teams that we had from 06 to 09. And everybody knows what those teams were and how great those teams were. And of course, I mentioned earlier the Nealon stripe on the leg. That pays homage to Nealon's teams. And then, they keep the modernization of it with the rest of it being simplistic. And then, you add the gold onto the white uniforms. I truly think that a lot of times with uniforms especially, fans aren't really listened to in terms of what's to be seen out of it. Right?
Yeah.
I can't think of a time before where we've really gotten such a perfect rendition of what fans have wanted out of the uniform. Because there's always people, I want to see this and I want to see them add this. For the most part with these uniforms, I really think you got a fan-driven perspective on what, what was.
They listened. Yeah, they listened to what the majority of the fan base wanted.
And I do. I really do love this set of uniforms.
Me too.
And it's kind of a scary. It's always scary for me whenever they reveal new uniforms because, like 2013, when they revealed those.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought that I would love it. I did. I mean, like look at the blue and the black. Over time, like the first game they came out of the tunnel. I remember watching them come out of the tunnel for that game, and it just didn't feel like West Virginia football.
It looked weird.
And I didn't like those uniforms at all until they took the color off.
They took the plates off, yeah.
And they looked more, like a cleaner uniform.
And still, that number font was just so weird on those too. I think I'm glad they finally cleaned that up and stuff. I mean, I liked the reason behind it and stuff, but yeah, the only good thing I liked out of 2013 was finally getting the gold helmets because you guys know I love gold. It's my favorite. So
I say that I wish we would have got when they announced the we're gonna have a first, a second, and a third.
The combinations.
I thought that would entail maybe not getting the black uniforms today, which I would have loved, but I would have liked to see them with a glossy rendition for our helmets.
Yeah, bring back a glossy variation. A lot of people do want that.
An option for that.
I'm surprised that they didn't. Maybe, just maybe, they'll do that with the black uniform reveal too. Who knows? But I do think that that's, one of the main reasons that we haven't got a lot of information about West Virginia, what they've shared with EA Sports for the college football video game. You guys know, on social media, Mike Kazaza said he put out the FOIA request to WVU to try and get the information on that, and they wouldn't share it. And I think, honestly, one of the big reasons is probably because these new uniforms will be there for WVU in the new EA Sports college football game, which is pretty exciting if that is the case. But, yeah, as Kenny says here, smash that like button, everybody. Helps the algorithm, helps get the video out to more people. Appreciate that, Kenny, for sure. Whether you're watching this live or on a playback, hit the thumbs up button. Helps a ton. Throw your thoughts in the chat there. Touch on some of your comments here. And then if you're watching on the playback, leave them in the comments. Try and respond there in text form. But what else, man? What else have we not covered, man? What you saw? I think that it was good back and forth.
I thought it was really cool that they opened up the light blue lot for free parking. Obviously,
free parking.
It wasn't free today because it's obviously some hospital parking.
Free tickets.
Free parking, free tickets.
The concerts, UMAC concert.
Food trucks that were there.
Good food. We had the barbecue. Was it Dan T's barbecue? I think that's what it was called. Something like that. I think it was Dan T's. 100%. But that was good. It's good food.
It was really good. It was really good.
Cheerleaders were there. The Mountaineer was there. A lot of stuff pregame.
Labor laws getting
Yeah, they had some young workers, but hey, it was good. Definitely, that was good. That made me think of something else. I completely can't remember what it was now. To open up both sides of the stadium.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing. Yes, I think that's one of the best things that they've done for the spring game in recent memory. I haven't been, I think maybe for 1 to 2 years, but I don't know if this was the first year or not. But opening up both sides of the stadium from the lower half of the bowl, awesome idea.
Yeah.
The stadium looked a lot fuller.
That was great.
Than I can ever remember it being.
Yeah, because like you said, I've been coming to pretty consistently for about a decade, and I don't remember both sides being open. And having both sides open, it looked better, like you said. But also, they even got the "Let's Go Mountaineers" chant going a couple of times. And that's the first time that's ever happened in the spring game. So I think they really did some fun improvements to this spring game. Hopefully, they'll continue those. Obviously, they're not going to reveal a new uniform set every year, but I think stuff like the pregame stuff with the concert, maybe some alternates, right? But letting the fans on the field for pictures and autographs, that was really cool. Hopefully, they continue that as well, for sure.
Yeah, well. And if you ever wondered how big a college Division I athlete is,
I think
it comes to about Wyatt Milam's chest.
Yeah, I was up to about here on Wyatt Milam. I'll try and post a picture on Twitter later this evening if I can. You guys check us out at WVU Country Roads on Twitter. I'll try and post there, maybe on our Facebook as well. But yeah, pretty funny when I got that picture with Wyatt Milam. I went back and looked at it. I was like, man, he is a large human being. But we're in good hands on that side there with him at the left tackle spot for sure, because he's tough to get around, I'm sure. Other things I noted down was, of course, we get the Iron Mountaineer Awards. They always hand those out at halftime of the spring game. The Iron Mountaineer Award winners this year: Garrett Green, Preston Fox, Austin Brinkman, Sean Martin, and Wyatt Milam. Funny enough, right there, perfect segue. And then, of course, the Tommy Nikolic Award, given to a walk-on that stands out every spring. Avery Wilcox, the safety, got that award here in this one. Trying to see. Yeah, Sean Martin got one of the Iron Mountaineers. Yeah. They didn't, of course, no live special teams drills, but when they did do the few punts, Preston Fox was back there fielding them as usual, and then Tyler Evans was back there fielding them too. Some special teams notes. RJ Cocan hit a nice field goal, and then Michael Hayes hit one as well. Kickoffs weren't live, but some of the competition drills were pretty cool. They let some of the guys playing out of position get involved. Tyron Bradley, he was a high school quarterback. They let him throw in the quarterback competition when they were doing the one-on-one receiver versus DB. You had offensive lineman versus defensive lineman, Brandon Yates versus TJ Jackson, I think it was. That was fun.
What was really cool was, they had these specific, position drills, but they let other positions join in on these drills. And then
just having some fun.
I know they had a quarterback drill that they were doing, and they let a few fans join in on that drill. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. They did a great job with fan engagement this year. They really did. The only other thing I jotted down, I didn't jot down complete starting lineups because it was pretty much mixed. It wasn't, first team offense is gold, first team defense is blue. There was a good mixture on both. But as far I did jot down the offensive line, gold offensive line, you had Johnny Williams, Mo Hamilton, Brandon Yates, Sully Weedman, Xavier Bosley. Blue offensive line, Wyatt Milam, Nick Cray, Landon Livingston, Jaquay Hubbard, and Nick Malone. So some starters mixed in on even both of those units. So I thought they did a good job kind of evening out the teams, and it ended up in a pretty even game. What was it, 35-24, gold with the win, I think was the final, something around there. Blue, 34-24. Yeah. Blue was up at half, 24-20, I think, too. So gold with the second half shutout, I guess, if you're keeping track. Gold got the win there. But, that's pretty much my thoughts pretty much on the game, on the atmosphere, all that stuff. Catch up on some comments here and wrap up before too much longer. Kenny says, I wish I was there. I would have brought my homemade pepperoni rolls and shared with you guys. Kenny, that sounds delicious, man.
That does sound delicious. We're going to have to make a deal.
Yeah, have to do it sometime, Kenny.
Get that worked out.
Yeah, I might have to sample some of those pepperoni rolls for sure. WVU football going deep. Hey, appreciate you, Forrest, as always. Been doing good work on your channel over there. Hopefully everybody's checking out what WVU football going deep's doing. He says, thought Green and Markiel both looked sharp. Green showed the touch we wanted to see, and Markiel showed the comfort level needed. 100%. I think, that really a lot of there were a couple errant throws, but I think, you're knocking the rust off and stuff in certain areas. But a lot of the incompletions and, a couple of the picks we saw really were just great plays by the players on defense. I jotted down Zay Jennings made a pick on a 2-point conversion, true freshman that really did a great job jumping that. He had a personal foul penalty a few plays before, so he made up for that. And then later it was, who was it that had that other pick? I can't remember. Yeah, right there at the end. No, I thought I jotted it down somewhere, but I guess I missed it. Somebody else got a pick there at the end. Was it Aiden Garnes again? Hey, I know Aiden Garnes had one too. Yeah, because I did want to mention Aiden Garnes. He was really putting on good coverage, even in the one-on-one drills. He had some great coverage on. I think it was Hudson one time. And Hudson still made a good catch. But I liked what I saw from Aiden Garnes and some of those new guys. But as far as Green and Markiel are concerned, I think Green had some scrambles that if they're not playing essentially two-hand touch on the quarterbacks that were big gainers. We're talking touchdown runs. Jaheim White had one that was similar there in the fourth quarter. So, it's kind of hard to judge that, with the way those guys play, both being dual threats, Green and Markiel. I think they both could have had some nice runs if you were playing it live. But as far as, pocket presence and everything, Green did look, he looked comfortable. When the pocket was breaking down, he knew exactly where to step up to, where to scramble to, knew where, the throw was going to be. And Nico, man, he really, I thought, impressed me with some of the throws that he was making. You can tell that I think what Neil Brown was saying about him being one of the most improved players wasn't really coach speak, because he was throwing some dots, man. That's what I thought. What about you, Steven?
Oh, sorry, I want to touch on that as well. Yeah, I think that Nico. Now, like I said, I don't like to judge quarterbacks in the spring game because you really can't see. When pressure collapses, the first thing you see a quarterback do in the spring game is cut out, and they're never going to calm down back there. They're going to see how far they can get. Because it's two-hand touch after that. So you really,
which after the first quarter, they played two-hand touch for about everybody on the field. So it made it kind of difficult.
But from the throws that I've seen, I've seen both quarterbacks make some throws that could be improved on. But I'm like, I think Nico made some really impressive throws. Even with as well as he played in some of the games that we played in last year, that he played in last year, I thought that he's shown much improvement.
I agree.
And Garrett Green too. I think I mentioned that to you during the game. I think he looks like he's made that stride. You watch a quarterback. Like when Gino, whenever his first season under
when he had to come in and play after when Jared Brown got hurt a couple times,
right. You seen his first year under center, he didn't look comfortable. A lot of quarterbacks don't in their first couple of years, but he's not to say that he didn't jump comfortable last year, because I think he quite clearly did. But he's made that stride this whole season to where this is my team. This is the route we're taking. I guess he just looks a lot more.
Yeah, you could. I don't think that if anything was knock on wood, you wouldn't really have a step down. I think that he's just looks in command as much as Garrett does, really. Which the only thing that I can harp on GG for and got to give him a hard time about, man, is first quarter. Jarrell Williams comes jet sweep, pitch it to him, tosses it back to Preston Fox on a double reverse. I thought Preston Fox was going to take off running, but throws it at the last second. Garrett Green's wide open over the shoulder catching it. It's a touchdown, and oh man, it's a good thing he's not a receiver.
What he's talking about, it's the Philly special.
I think,
and he totally
Philly special, 100%. Tom Brady did, and for a few years ago, I think when we were wanting to get GG on the field, and we were wondering why's West Virginia playing in slot. I think we got our answer why they didn't ever move him to slot receiver. but other than that, everything I thought looked great between Garrett Green and between Nico for sure. Nico Markiel for sure, rather. Tim says, just came here off Forrest show. Great one he had today. I guarantee it. I can't wait to tune into yours as well, Forrest. I'm hopefully bounce back and check that out. And Timothy, glad you're able to come and check ours out as well, and that you're checking out both those, because I think they're both great shows for sure. I love WV football going deep also. So glad you guys took the time out to come over here and check us out for a little bit. We're going to wrap this one up before too much longer, but appreciate you guys. Like I said, drop a like before you head out. Throw your thoughts in the comments if you didn't get a chance to be here live. Later tonight, check out the West Virginia Voice College Football channel. We'll hop on there with Joey, talk a little bit more about the game and some of the happenings there. And we'll be covering Mountaineer football a lot here in the near future. Plenty to talk about now. Getting closer and closer to the start of this 2024 season. Now we got our whistle wet a little bit with a little bit of appetizer of this team. Kenny asked, what about the new quarterbacks? I thought that those, both those walk-ons that got in there, Scott Keene and I can't remember, 17 was throwing some nice balls there too. There on that final drive, he hit Traylon Ray over the middle on a good one too. So both those guys look decent. I'm anxious to see what Khalil Wilkins looks like when he gets here over the summer and see him as a true freshman and get another scholarship quarterback on the roster for sure. But it didn't look bad. I didn't think they looked bad for sure. Said running game is the one thing I don't think we really got a full glimpse of because, like I said, they were playing two-hand touch a lot afterwards. But the offensive line looked like they were getting decent movement. And then we talked about the back and forth between the defensive line. So, like we said, it's kind of hard to judge with the spring game, but overall definitely came away pleased with the experience, being here today at the game. And I'm really still no less excited for 2024 season than I was before coming here. Nothing that I saw made me think this team is going to be any worse. If anything, it made my expectations even higher because I think our defense is going to take a big step. So I guess that's kind of my final takeaway is I think our defense is going to be much improved and our offense isn't going to take any step backs. They're going to still be just as explosive. So I'm excited to see what we can do in a wide open Big 12, Stephen. But what about you? Any final thoughts before we get ready to close this one out?
Well, I think we just wait and see what the next 4 to 5 days. I can't really remember what it is. Maybe 3 to 4 days. See what this transfer portal window does.
Fingers crossed.
See what it brings us, what it leaves us, and where we go from there.
Yeah, me as well. Hopefully, no big surprises or anything. Everyone that we need to keep, we keep, and then bring in some good guys that'll help contribute to a successful 2024. Yeah, Jackson Chris, I think was the other quarterback there. Kenny, appreciate you throwing that in there. But successful Gold Blue spring game for 2024. Really great experience getting on Mountaineer Field. Both a dream come true for both of us. Couldn't be happier about that. And just in turn, we couldn't be happier with the new uniforms. I think we got a great new uniform set. Probably my favorite since 2007 to 2012, that said. And like you said, it's in the running to maybe be one of the best of all time once we see them, live and in action and stuff. But they're up there. They did a great job with them for sure. But appreciate you guys that tuned into this live. If you did get a chance to watch it live, hope you were tuned in on the playback. But stay tuned here to the Country Roads webcast. Plenty of West Virginia coverage here, moving throughout the football off season and, of course, basketball coverage as well as they build the roster and staff there. So having said that, as always, till next time, for Stephen, I'm Jordan, and let's go Mountaineers.